entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of the I Rest My Take podcast. We are your hosts, Max Adams and Liam Spell. We have a lot of things to uncover this week. A lot of things happening in sports. For starters, we got Tua Time, Miami, and we got a new head coach for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, and we missed a lot of baseball since last week, a lot. And so many headlines going out through the NFL this week. The NFC East has gotten even worse. Even worse. And that's something we didn't even know that was possible. So we're going to dive into that, as well as a special surprise in addition to the show that we think you guys are really going to enjoy.
Yeah. Changing some things up. We're looking forward to it. Should be a good episode.
Absolutely.
Last week was good, so we're hoping to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, for starters, we got Tua Time, Miami. Personally, I don't think I like the move so early. Fitzpatrick's been good. 3-3 record. They got hopes for the playoffs, honestly. Like, you can argue that. Second in the NFC East.
You think it's too late?
No, truly, my fault.
Yeah.
I misspoke. It's Fitzpatrick's team right now.
Yeah, I think they should. If you're going to make this move, you start him in the first 3 or 4 weeks, and if Fitzpatrick falls out and puts you in a position that you have put, like he did put his team in, that you should just ride it, because you guys are trying to make a playoff run, or at least like acting like it, and are winning enough games to be second place in the AFC East. So there's no, I don't like the move. I think if you don't start him within 3 or 4 weeks, you should probably redshirt him and just go next year and give him a clean slate. But yeah, and then nobody liked that move. Everybody in the locker room hated it. Fitz hated it.
He was heartbroken. I was reading an article today. He said, I basically got fired yesterday. My day consisted of Zoom meetings with the guy who fired me, and then sitting in a room with the guy who was replacing me for 4 hours. That's, wow.
Yeah, I thought Fitz was going to take the high road there, because I thought he knew kind of like his place, because like obviously they drafted Tua at 5 to play him and for them to be their guy moving forward. Yeah. So I thought he would have been a little more understanding, and I think this situation would have gone over a little better had he not kind of gone down that road. But I feel for him.
I think you're absolutely right with the whole, like they should have either brought him like the first 3 weeks or not at all.
Yeah, because you saw with Justin Herbert, Tyrod didn't really get a good sample size, and you didn't really get a chance to see what Tyrod could do, but Justin Herbert showed up and showed that it was his job. So I think Ryan Fitzpatrick was not like Tyrod, and you saw him do well. He was 5th in completion percentage, so QBR 7th, and then passing and rushing TDs combined, tied for 10th among QBs this year.
He was balling for him.
Arguably the best football we've seen Fitz play in his career.
It's like 17-year career. It's not ridiculous like that.
Yeah, all the guys, like I was watching Pat McAfee show, and all the guys were just devastated, and like they all love Fitz, and they all think that he's such a great guy to play with, and like.
I wonder, did you read up at like why, like what was the biggest reason for Brian Flores? I think he just kind of was like.
I think that from what I read, I think the plan in place was to start Tua after the bye week the entire time.
Really?
Yeah, from what I've read at least, there's nothing really to say for any reasoning behind the decision other than that was their plan the whole time. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I'm not a Tua believer as it is. I don't think Tua's you can really build a team around Tua, because his national title that he won, he only played the second half of. He didn't bring them that championship. It's not like he was the marquee QB in that whole system there. It was Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts got them to that point. Right. And then Nick Saban made a spur of the moment move. And then after that, he was kind of like average. He wasn't in Heisman discussions. He wasn't really like, he was just winning games because Alabama was such a powerhouse.
And he was always injury prone. So
yeah.
I mean, I think if he stays healthy, I would say I'm more of a probably believer than you. If he stays healthy, I think he could be a really good quarterback. I just don't know. Again, I just don't think it was the right time for Fitz to leave.
Exactly. I think Fitz is going to be back in there in probably 3-4 weeks. Honestly, I don't see the Tua experiment going well, especially in the MLB playoff race. You have him playing must-win games right away, and you don't even get it. Like he didn't have a preseason. He threw the ball twice. For 9 yards, and then he was like, "Okay, you can start now." Right. He had no preseason, no preparation. All he's played against is squad guys.
but I don't know. Like, if they're going to bring him in now after Fitzpatrick's playing, I think they're going to ride him out the rest of the season.
I mean,
depending on if like he's healthy and stuff, but
yeah, I think if he drops the first 2 or 3 games, Fitz will be back in.
That might be just a worse situation too, though, because like you're going back and forth. I don't know.
I don't think they managed that well.
Yeah,
and it's something to be said because lefty QBs, but with the exception of Michael Vick in the past decade, have not seen a lot of success. I think they're 16 and 25.
The last like good one was probably like Steve Young, right?
Yeah, before Mike Vick. Yeah, Steve Young.
Like Hall of Famer. I know Vick was a baller though, but yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't like the move at all.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a new head coach in the NBA for the New Orleans Pelicans, Stan Van Gundy. We mentioned this a lot last week, kind of the coaching carousel.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Dominoes are starting to fall. I don't like this move either. I don't like it at all because Van Gundy's coming off the same sort of mediocrity that Alvin Gentry just had in Nola, and so Stan Van Gundy's record with the Pistons was 152 and 176. So it was over 20 games below 500, and then Alvin Gentry's was 175 and 225. So what are you really upgrading there? What are you gaining? Like, I don't understand because it's not like he has a prior relationship with any players.
Yeah.
It's not like he has a marquee big man to work with, unless you're counting Zion, but I don't really count him as a big man.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand, especially when there are I think better options for New Orleans on the table still.
Who would you say like the number one choice was?
Out of the coaches still remaining, I think you could have gone Chauncey Billups. I think you could have gone Mark Jackson. I think you could have gone Mike D'Antoni before he went to Stan Van Gundy.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't know how. I mean, he's kind of more of a little bit of an old school guy, I'd say. But I thought maybe like they bring in a younger guy just with all the young talent they have to kind of connect more with players. But I mean, I've always been a fan of Stan Van Gundy. I don't really remember him as a head coach. Really, that was a couple of years ago when he was with the Pistons, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got fired 2 years ago, or something like that. It was like the season after they made the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, so the Pelicans, they should be good. I don't know, the West is tough again, but they have so much talent there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see how he does.
Yeah, I don't really, because the other thing is Van Gundy hasn't really been one to develop young talent. He kind of
he just gets the guys that he has and kind of just coaches. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't understand the move. I think there are much better options, but as long as he gives Zion a bigger role and you don't see him benched in the fourth quarter of like must-win games like you saw in the bubble, I think that it's only up from there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was an interesting hire. I would say definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had 2 game 7s in both ALCS and NLCS. I don't know the last time that happened.
Yeah, it was. I saw it only happened 3 times in MLB history, with
Really?
the last time being 2004.
Wow.
So it's been a hot minute, and baseball remains the greatest postseason in sports.
Absolutely. I just wish there was fans because it's a whole nother level with fans.
Yeah, see that was my one thing with the Astros. It was like in one breath they're gone from the playoffs. They have no shot at a World Series, but you don't really get to see fans just give it to them, just tear them apart until 2021, which is disappointing in itself.
Right.
But I'm glad they're finally out. I was sick of watching them play. I was sick of watching Carlos Correa run his mouth.
I was nervous though because they came back down 3-0.
Yeah, once they tied up the series, I was like, oh no, not this team.
Because then if they won, all those guys would be talking so much junk, saying, "Oh, we don't need double cheat. We're the best team here."
Yeah, and that would have been in MLB history forever.
Yeah, especially they played the Dodgers.
They played the Dodgers again, and for the fact that they were the first team since the 2004 Red Sox is. What was the year?
2004,
Yeah,
they beat the Yankees.
Yeah, they came back from a 3-0 lead, and then coming off the scandal, that would have been talked about forever. And I don't want to talk about this Astros team forever at all.
Thank God the Rays won, because I think they were the second team with the Red Sox to force a Game 7, which is impressive in itself. Yeah, you can't deny that. But yeah, if they, like you said, that would have been like the best 30 for 30 you could see.
Yeah. But we got to talk about Charlie Morton too. Charlie Morton, I talked about in the first episode where you have your ace and you have your big game pitcher.
Right.
And so Charlie Morton exemplifies the big game pitcher. He's put out a .56 ERA in winner take home games. The 2 above him, I think, were Madison Bumgarner and Randy Johnson.
Really?
And so
he's undefeated, I think.
He's undefeated. Yeah. They don't score off him. He has 5 straight postseason games with 1 or 0 earned runs in a row. So the man deals in the postseason.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said about Charlie Morton right now as one of the not the greatest postseason pitchers ever, but he's very swept under the rug.
Yeah, definitely under the radar. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But watching that game, he was they took him out early, I think too.
Well, that's kind of been the Rays' whole philosophy because
they
have
to
so much firepower in the bullpen. But I mean,
they have 3 studs. Glasnow, he struggled in game 1, but with him, Snell had 9 strikeouts in 4 innings, and then Charlie Morton. They were a tough rotation.
Definitely.
And then the Dodgers in their LCS come back from they were down 3-1. That's pretty impressive too.
Yeah, there was a lot of points where I thought the Braves were going to kind of run away with it, and they had every opportunity. What did they came out to 2-0, 3-0 lead, and
they were winning a majority of the series.
They were winning a majority of the game 7, and then Cody Bellinger just stuck him with a dagger.
Bang.
Yeah,
Mike Green likes to say bang. That was a bomb.
Yeah.
He's been playing well too.
Yeah, hopefully his shoulder doesn't.
I know. I saw that. He popped it out.
You gotta have the foot taps going now. I always thought that forearm celebration was dangerous. I never was one to go for that because I have a short arm, so it's vulnerable.
So that was the NLCS and ALCS. And now in the World Series, we got series tied 1-1. I was glad the Rays win game 2.
Yeah, game 1 that probably should have been. I would say closer, because you have Tyler Glasnow. Yeah, Tyler Glasnow hasn't had this bad of an outing in his career, I would say. He was spiking every pitch. You could tell that he was really jittery. Why doesn't he pitch in the windup? Why was that? I don't understand. That's the first starting pitcher that I've seen in a while that, like I said, wasn't a reliever. That doesn't pitch from the windup. That was very odd. I feel like you could get in so much of a better rhythm.
It's been working for him, but obviously not in game 1.
Yeah, somebody's got to fix that. I don't know why he does that. I don't know what good it does him.
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate it.
But Kershaw pitched well in game 1. I think it's 6 innings, 8 Ks, and only 1 run.
Yeah, I didn't expect Kershaw to come out and win this game. I took the Rays game 1. I thought that they were gonna come out and kind of give Kershaw what he's been resulting in recent playoff games.
Definitely.
So that was my position, but Kershaw showed.
Yeah.
Kershaw showed, and that's really what he's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what. He's been one of the best pitchers, probably the regular season of all time. Postseason, different story. He's been one of the worst.
He is, I would say, probably the Peyton Manning of the MLB.
Yeah.
Just not a lot of postseason success, but he balls out in the regular season. Has nothing to show.
He had 3 strikeouts before. He was even 30 in the regular season. Wild. And then game 2, Brandon Lowe had 2 dingers in game 2.
Yeah, I think the story from this game though was really, Dave, a bullpen game in the World Series. Really? When you have the staff that you have, come on. I want to see if it was a bullpen day. Start Joe Kelly, please.
Yeah. I forget who started. He only pitched 1 inning.
Was it Gonzalez?
Something, I think. Yeah. But they had 8 different guys that could pitch.
Yeah, that's such a weird.
I've never been I don't know about you, but like a starter for 1 inning. I've never been a fan of that.
Yeah, I've never been the fan of an opener.
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially since it's the World Series, you gotta. You're kidding me, Dave. I like you and everything, and I want to see you get a ring because you deserve one. But what are you're doing? You're doing too much.
Yeah. Especially with the rotation he has.
Yeah. But that was insane. But Brandon Lowe, as you're alluded to a little bit, was 6 for 66 in postseason going into this game.
Really?
And he's the first player in MLB history to hit 2 opposite field home runs in a World Series game.
Huh.
So
Interesting that.
Yeah, he was really that hit everybody over the head because he was doing so bad, and Kevin Cash was like, "Nah, I'm sticking with my guy," because that's their all-star. That was one of their only offensive all-stars 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So
showed out for him.
Yeah, about time.
Yeah, they needed that.
They've been waiting on it for the whole entire postseason.
Yeah, because if they went down 2-0, that would have been tough.
Yeah, that's tough to come back from. But Charlie Morton would have got them game 3 at the very least.
Yeah.
No,
is Walker Buehler pitching game 3?
Buehler and Morton game 3.
That'll be a good matchup.
That's going to be a really good matchup. I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big game too. Now we're on to the new thing we're talking about, right? The NFL?
Yep, the 2-minute drill.
Yeah. So if you guys know a little bit about Chris Berman and Part of My Take, they kind of have their own renditions of 2-minute drill, where they kind of just give highlights of all the games that happened in the past week.
Yeah, we had to figure out another way to recap the games for you guys. who missed it or in some way, shape, or form without like kind of vaguely just grazing over it and going straight to our takeaway. So I think this is it. So let's get straight to it. You want to start?
I'll start. Yeah.
Week 6. Let's go.
So Aaron Rodgers and my Packers were absolutely terrible this past Sunday. Buccaneers throttled them 38-10. But as the late great Whitney Houston always said, I will always love you. And that's my motto for them.
In Carolina, where Nick Foles and Teddy Bridgewater faced off in what some called it the three-legged bowl. And Nick Foles proved his will always have just a little more hang time. Chicago 23, Carolina 16.
The Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, got his chance to play this past Sunday and give Jerry Jones a reason to forget about Dak. But his nickname did not speak to what he can do because Red Rocket was terrible. Cardinals 38, Cowboys 10.
In New York, where Sam Darnold took another day off to go clubbing in Atlantic City, while Tua proved 9 yards is all it takes to send Fitzmagic and the rest of us into a swirling pool of depression. Miami 24, New York Jets 0.
The Vikings should follow the Colts model they had a couple years back, suck for luck, because Andrew Luck turned that franchise around. And the only thing Kirk Cousins is going to be doing in terms of turning around is Adele Song turning tables. Because he won't be a Viking next year with playing like this. The model for them, bad performance for Lawrence. Hey, you never know. Falcons 40, Vikings 23.
In Pittsburgh, where we saw a different type of assault this time around, no dented heads this time, just broken spirits and probably another Progressive commercial. Pittsburgh 38, Cleveland 10.
Jaguars had a glimmer of hope to start the year against the Colts with a win in week 1. But everything has gone downhill for Jacksonville. I would say the only thing looking good for the future, other than potential number 1 pick, is Gardner Minshew's beard. Lions 34, Jaguars 16.
In Tennessee, where the Texans all made business decisions that they're not winning enough to step in front of a 21-mile-per-hour pile of bricks. And I don't blame them at all. Not even overtime gave them enough incentive. Tennessee 42, Houston 36.
NFC East or the NFC East, they're freaking terrible. There was a projection that Eagles might win the series or the division with a record of 6-9-1. Absolutely terrible, and the NFC East is straight up garbage. But it could be worse. It could be a freaking jet. New York Giants get their first win 2019, and the Eagles, despite they almost got a good win against the Ravens, took the L again.
In Indy, where the Colts continue to rally behind Phil Rivers because who wants to send a man home into retirement to 9 kids, while poor Joe Burrow and the Cincy House Cats get a case of the Dan Quinn. Indianapolis 31, Cincinnati 27.
Drew Lock was freaking terrible this past Sunday against the Patriots. Broncos couldn't score a touchdown to save their lives, but they still found out to beat the Pats 18-12. Brandon McManus should have channeled an inner Will Ferrell kicking and screaming because all they were doing was kicking and he should have been screaming at his other teammates. Broncos 18, Patriots 12.
In San Francisco, where Jimmy G is now fully healthy and mostly gray, generating a lot of hype from the hub. Aaron Donald and his throwing knives couldn't compete with that. San Francisco 24, Los Angeles Rams 16.
Very, very good.
Oh, we got one more.
Yeah, one more go. All you.
In Buffalo, where God or Mother Nature or Bruno Mars robbed us all of watching the Battle of the Rubber Arms. Instead, we saw that the Bills needed Lev Bell just a hell of a lot more than KC. But Andy Reid was still as angry as I've ever seen him. His wife must have not given him enough Hawaiian shirts for the road. Chiefs win anyway, KC 26, Buffalo 17.
What I like to say? Electric.
Electric.
That was gold. So yeah, that was a little thing we wanted to change up this year. Bring a little enthusiasm and just, I think that was really fun.
That was fun as hell. But so now we're gonna get into our takeaways a little bit. So I have one question to start off for you, my friend.
Let's hear it.
Are the Pack frauds?
After this weekend, yes. They were, no, but yes. They were terrible. They started off like they had previous weeks, 10-0. Aaron Rodgers was connecting, Aaron Jones was running well. He throws his first pick since the Ice Age, because he hasn't done picks at all. And then everything was terrible after that.
Everyone is healthy now, so they don't really have an excuse. Like, they can't say that they can't use the Philly handicap where all their receivers are injured. Aaron Jones was in there. Their defense, Devontae was back. Defense was healthy, and they looked awful. They only put up 10 points after putting up at least 30 in 5 straight weeks.
It was Aaron Rodgers' worst game of his career. It was so difficult to watch. I was on my phone in last fourth quarter because I couldn't stand it. I just wanted Aaron Rodgers to come out because I wanted to freaking break his collarbone off a Shaq Barrett sack because it was getting brutal. But if you say that now, I have no problem because they deserve it. They were terrible.
Aaron Rodgers might have lost his MVP credibility, and Green Bay might have lost their Super Bowl contention credibility.
I wouldn't say the Super Bowl contention quite yet. Aaron Rodgers definitely got bumped down in the MVP, but they're still Buccaneers are no joke. They're still good, but I mean Packers did not look good.
Yeah, that is very.
I think they went from probably the favorite in the NFC to like the third maybe, because that was
rough.
Yeah.
And after Bucks didn't really look all that great going into that week either. Everyone was I know I was down on the Bucks.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, I remember that.
I was really down on the Bucks. I didn't think that was going to be the outcome even remotely. I thought it was either going to be a shootout or the back was going to run away with it, and neither happened.
I was very disappointed, especially after the bye week. Devontae Adams comes back healthy. I had Aaron Rodgers as one of my top performers because I thought he was going to light up the Buccaneers. That was completely wrong.
Yeah.
That was a terrible game. You got any other thing?
So if we got to talk about the Cowboys too, I feel like apparently slumber parties aren't the way to find out a new head coach. Who knew? You might see Mike McCarthy out very, very, very soon. Very soon, because he didn't even look enthused. He didn't even look like he looked like he expected that.
Yeah.
That was just depressing on all levels.
Yeah, and especially when you have like civil war in your locker room when the coaches or the players are saying the coaches didn't really care or anything. Not a recipe that Jerry Jones is gonna like.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, keep going if you want any more takeaways. We're gonna go to the pick'ems.
Well, we gotta talk about Monday Night Football. I'm gonna say one thing about Monday Night Football, and then we can move on.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I could do some of the coordinating jobs at ESPN. Y'all really.
You don't like Steve Levy?
I don't hate Steve Levy, but like that whole crew just bores me. Like I'm not really all that excited about it, and especially because you have Marcus Spears and Ryan Clark already circling around in ESPN headquarters at all times.
Yeah.
And they offered Al Michaels, Tony Romo, like the lead roles. Like if you want to go out and get somebody that's going to be available and it's going to be electric, go get Gus Johnson. Go get my guy. Please. That would be him and Marcus Spears, and then Louis Riddick could stay if he wants, but like him and Marcus Spears would be so electric.
I used to play was NCAA basketball. I think he was the announcer. My favorite thing was he'd be like, "From the corner." He is the definition of electric. I love his voice.
Best voice in sports.
And because Monday Night Football has always been kind of like the Debbie Downer. Like Thursday Night Football, you got Aikman and Joe Buck doing the game, and Thursday night I feel like the matchups maybe a little better. But Monday night,
since Tirico left,
because oh my God, at least I'm happy they got rid of Booger McFarland. I was not a fan.
They had 3 straight years where it was Jason Witten, Booger, and now this year you got just all like nothing special.
I forgot Jason Witten. That's why he retired. He came
back to play. He's like, nah, I'm gonna actually play football and not try because this is not my job.
Yeah, no, he was Jason Witten, sick of football, buddy. So the NFL pick'ems we got for this upcoming week. We're gonna start with the Thursday night game that's actually happening tonight while we're filming this. Is the Giants Eagles? Who you got in that game?
I got Philly, but don't watch this game unless you are responsibly gambling or for some unexplicable reason you're starting anyone in fantasy. Don't watch this game. It's not. I'm sad about this game. Thursday night. I think I have a proposal. So. All NFC East games should be played on either Wednesday or Thursday. I don't want to see them on Sunday.
That would make it on Wednesday.
Yeah. So I'm totally fine if you keep the NFC East games just away from Sundays and Mondays. Like keep the Sundays and Mondays for the real men.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a primetime game with the NFC East is anything worth watching. I have the Eagles as well, but you never know with the NFC East.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be a good matchup. The Steelers and Titans, both undefeated.
Yeah, this is a dark horse Super Bowl potentially for preview.
Yeah, no, they're both AFC. Steelers and Titans
aren't NFC?
No, they're AFC.
Dude, I'm so tired of divisions. I kind of hate myself.
Yeah, the AFC Championship game. You could say that.
Yeah, the AFC Championship game. Pretty sure. Yeah, that.
Who you got here?
I got Tennessee. Tennessee seems to be just the hottest offense in the NFL right now. Even if their defense catches up to them, they might be the best team in the NFL. But their defense is kind of lacking far behind them. But I mean, Henry and Tannehill seem to be dominating right now, and they don't have Devin Bush anymore. They lost Devin Bush last week, so I think that's kind of gotta hurt your main core of your defense there. So that's going to hurt the steel curtain that they got going on out there. So I think the Tennessee is going to continue rolling.
I have the Steelers, but if I was nervous, it was definitely the Devin Bush injury. But I think, like you said, the Titans defense. I think Steelers the receiving core might have a nice game. Big Ben might have kind of a breakout game. He hasn't been a huge he's been a little bit, I wouldn't say a disappointment because they're 5-0, but I think he needs to be better. So I'm going to go with the Steelers, but I'm not a confident answer I'll give you because Derrick Henry ran all over them.
One thing about Devin Bush real quick, I'm working on a tape here. Working on a tape. Does crowd noise contribute to knee and ankle durability?
You say that because everyone's getting hurt?
Yeah, this is the most knee ankle thing like I've ever seen throughout. Like at least it's an even mix usually throughout the NFL season, but the season that we don't have fans, there's a lot of knee and ankle trouble.
Yeah.
Like
and hamstring, I would say too.
Yeah, I don't really. It's not done yet. The take isn't done yet. I gotta put a little more research into it. Yeah. But
that's not
very well may be possible at this point because who knows?
Yeah. It's a funny point. And so originally the Buccaneers Raiders game was going to be Sunday night, but it just got flexed. The Seahawks Cardinals game is going to be there.
Yeah, did they flip that or they put Tampa Bay Monday?
I'm not sure. I want to say it was a Sunday at like 4:05, I believe, but it could be they could not even play because the whole Raiders offensive line is COVID. So if there is a game, I'm taking the Buccaneers staying hot.
I took Oakland in this one, but I genuinely have no idea what to think about either of these teams. I have no idea. Both coming off of big wins. One is overachieving, while I would say Tampa Bay is underachieving to a point and still trying to put all the pieces together as far as chemistry goes. So yeah, I took Oakland in this game, but I'm not confident in it at all.
And then the other game, I'm assuming right now is the Sunday night game, is the Seahawks Cardinals. Seahawks coming off the bye, Cardinals coming off the big win. Who we got?
Despite the huge margin of victory last week, Kyler Murray didn't look great at all. So I got Seattle. Yeah. I got Seattle this week. I think Russell Wilson stays hot, and Kyler's got to try to keep up with the league's MVP candidate to this point. And like Arizona's offensive game looks a lot more shaky than we anticipated. Yeah.
I would say he's probably like an honorable mention type guy. He's still putting up big numbers.
He's putting up big numbers, but he didn't look good on
the first quarter. I think we were talking in our group chat. He was terrible. Yeah. He was missing throws. I mean, he finished I think 9 of 24.
Yeah, his completion percentage was garbage in that game, and it doesn't help that he keeps getting shorter every week. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. He gets more stumpy and shorter every week, and I don't understand. Maybe as he runs more like a toddler, he starts to kind of morph into one, but I don't know.
Interesting. I don't know if I can say I saw that, but it's another interesting take you got. And then I believe the Monday night game, Bears Rams. I feel like this is an interesting game.
Yeah, the Chicago defense resurgence is real, and Nick Foles' hot hand I think can only lead to more Bears wins while the defense seems to be firing on all cylinders. So I got Chicago in this game. The Rams looked way too stagnant last night to I think compete, or not last week against San Francisco to really do anything against this very talented Bears defense.
Yeah, I have the Bears as well. Although Rams are they're good. I'm not confident like another. Some of these games I'm not confident in my picks. But I'm gonna take the Bears, staying hot, and see if that comes to fruition. So it does it for the NFL pick'ems.